The task is big, and I don't underrate it. But I think that we can deal with it by creating a team. It's not an individual. I think that I can create an effective team that can deal with this and create institutions that will help to fight this corruption and restore moral order in our country. I think that Kenyans themselves actually are against corruption. Kenyans would like to lead a normal life and would like to see clean government. Nikitwa taitika, 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 nikitwa.
Right, in the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity. That is what Albert Einstein once said. And of course, he has a knack for seeing opportunity in every crisis, as you can see it here since the Moi era and also Kibaki era and Kenyatta and now Ruto. And still also, this has been occasioned by the Gen Z's protest, as you can see it. I want us just to focus also, just briefly, if we may just fly back to what the Citizen is holding, not really the Citizen, the Star. Why Ruto Raila deal puts Riggy G in a tight spot? Where are we leaving Riggy G?
Riggy G is doing very well.
He's doing very well.
He has to be cautious. You see, for those of us who are livestock keepers, before you sell a bull, you fatten it for slaughter. And I think that has actually been done. And this deal has been sealed fully. And any pretense that is still sitting pretty is just pretense. He needs to take time, reflect, go back to the mountain, pray, and also ask himself where does he want to go in 2027. It's very clear this kind of rapprochement between Kenya Kwanza and ODM is a clear testimony that we are creating the Western Alliance. And that's what I was calling the ODM of 2007, where a large section of the Kalenjin, almost 90%, were in ODM, the Luo Nation, the Abagusi, the Luya Nation, except for Bungoma, and a few pockets in Kakamega were in ODM. So Bungoma remained in PNU. Trans Nzoia was largely PNU. And the rest of the country was basically ODM. So you can see, and William Ruto, having been in the Pentagon, is able to get some of the members of the Pentagon and making sure that the cost remains in his corner of the equation. And of course, there will be some changes. And as has been always the case, every election, players move from across the floor. So Riggy G can also choose, and because that will be a winning combination. Because 2007, the Kibaki dispute after controversial election results, if Kalonzo had remained with Kibaki, he would have won with a huge majority of over 1 million votes. So if that kind of coalition...
Kalonzo had remained with Raila.
Had Kalonzo gone to Raila,
yeah,
Raila also would have won. So Kalonzo is going to be a main factor. He may not be the candidate himself, but if he was to be the candidate and Riggy G supports him, that will be the winning combination. It is very clear that 2007 ODM and PNU, they're almost neck to neck. Whatever the results, I'm sure it was neck to neck. And the Kalonzo was a factor. And the combination has remained with Kalonzo for the last 25 years. And they are likely to remain with him in this particular election. More so if he was to be a presidential candidate.
Right. Professor Kindiki, you think also all these confluence of factors are really working in favor of Kalonzo?
No, it's too early to make that pronouncement.
And it's not his interest to say that Kalonzo is
But I like this panel. I like them because they think ahead of me, but that's okay. It's allowed. It's something that I've learned now to live with, to deal with, and to accept it. And anyway, I don't see Kalonzo going very far.
You don't see him going far?
Not very far, because he will be an isolated person 2027, unless he changes his maneuvers, political maneuvers. Because you look at the formations now, the coalitions that are there. The president now is with the top brass of the Azimio group, and these people have a lot of say at the grassroots level. So embracing them in the government means embracing even their followers, most likely, if we have to go with that arithmetic. And Kalonzo is isolated because Rick G is likely to support the president because he doesn't have a choice, because he's the principal, principal assistant. That's the one that I was looking for. Principal assistant of the president. So in his duties of working on day-to-day, he has to support the president. So he cannot have opposition within the government. And I think that's a mistake he had done. And the past few months. But now you see he has come back and is supporting the president. And I believe they are going to work together up to 2027, because the same government anyway is likely to be elected to be in power in 2027. So maybe 2032, they may think otherwise. A new leader will come up, and I don't think whether it will be Kalonzo, because you see what the Zs are doing. Although they are saying they are fearless, they are leaderless, they will have a leader maybe 2032, not in 2027. Because already we have a leader 2027 anyway.
Do you think still?
Oh yes, because really, you know, I hear people saying...
No, let me ask my question. I've not even asked my question.
He cannot give Kalonzo a chance in 2027.
That's what I'm asking. Do you think that also Rigathi Gachagua will be the deputy president moving forward from 2027?
Yeah, because he's the deputy president. Where do you take him? You can't. They're electing the same ticket with the President William Ruto.
So it will be the same ticket.
So he cannot be impeached. You can't also impeach the president. They will work together up to 2027. And I don't see them really separating now that they have included everyone in the government.
Come the August, this particular pact will have ended. So the president will have a
The prediction is going to support President William Ruto. That's my prediction. He is going to support him for 2027, come the election 2027. I don't think whether Rick G is interested with the presidency 2027, maybe 2032. And there now we will form his group with the Kalonzo and any other Kalonzo that will come, and the Mother Karua and other people. But not 2027, because this one is already negotiated.
All right.
It has been negotiated already.
It has been negotiated.
Yeah, by the look of things, the way they are working.
You see,
because if you have included everyone and is supporting you, that's what is going to separate you in 2027.
All right, let's say
working together.
No, let's say it's Barack's time.
So
then
I don't see
you. Yes, Barack.
But you will say I'm wicked, but I'm not wicked. Actually, what I'm trying to say, I just want to stop it. I'm not wicked. We are trying to predict and analyze the politics.
Please don't refer to him as wicked again.
So it's not wicked. It's not a wicked thought, and I cannot say, this is an analysis of what is likely to happen. Yeah, the idea I have is not wicked because, and I repeat, it's because already the formation of government has come to place. And therefore, because it's in place, it's likely, we're analyzing, it's likely to work well together in 2027.
Thank you.
Maybe 2032, something else may come up,
right,
but not 2027.
Yeah, you see,
Yeah. Just before, because I think also all this clamor and the protest has given sort of a leeway for Rigathi Gachagua to course correct his his sort of disconnectedness that was happening, him and the president, and was very evident to the public. So has he taken that advantage? And do you see also the same question, him being the same deputy president to William Ruto if they garner another chance?
First, on this thing of wickedness, I think a footnote is of the essence. It's not the professor who is wicked. Oh. It's the things he says that are wicked.
How can you say the ideas the professor?
And the ideas
they come from the same person.
Yeah.
That's a clever way of telling me I'm wicked.
No.
But it's okay.
But at least we are being professorial.
Yeah, let's be
so we just
professional.
deal with issues, not with the person.
Yeah.
I cannot attack him, but I can attack his
ideas.
Wicked thoughts.
Yes.
And his wicked ideas.
Allowed.
But I have no problem with the man. From here, we will go and have an extra cup of tea.
Correct.
And he'll pay for it.
And he will pay for it. Now, when you get back to Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, one of the lessons that I have learned in my long and rich life is that in politics, you never underrate anybody. Mm-hmm. Provided that they are within that arena, you don't underrate them. And if you should see their name on the ballot paper, please don't underrate it, because you do not know about the conspiracy of time, space, and circumstance, and what they are going to generate. Then please understand also that there is an opportunity there waiting for somebody to latch on. The opportunity is that which has been generated by Gen Z. The grievances that they have put in the public space are not being addressed. What we are seeing is continuity. The political class that has dominated the space and the country over the past 60 years and the inheritors of that tradition reconvening, regrouping to protect the system, to protect continuity and take it into the future. So that when we talk about ODM and UDA, we are seeing an intra-class competition. And when that class sees that it is collectively endangered by emerging new thinking, by a preponderant new demographic, then it comes together. To that extent, Riggy belongs to that political class, into that political space. But even as they regroup, there is still room within that house, within that arena, for them to fight and isolate and throw out others. For instance, the Western Alliance that Honorable Kirwa so eloquently and adroitly talks about is an alliance that would require that there is a presidential candidate and even a running mate from that formation. And should there be that kind of running mate from that formation, then Riggy would be out of the equation. But why are we talking about a Western alliance? We talk about a Western alliance in the sense that President William Ruto has already sensed, contrary to the wishful thinking by the very brilliant professor whose reasoning is way above and beyond ours, even in spite of his wishful thinking, the mountain is being isolated. Let me put it to you, Professor, starkly, that the mountain is being isolated. Isolated. when we talk about 2027, there are new approaches that are seeing the mountain as having gotten disillusioned by the present or with the present dispensation, and which starts trying to map out a new line of thought. Don't be surprised to see new possible leaders and presidential candidates emerging from the mountain, including from previous cabinets that we have had in this country. And it's within that space that when I look in the crystal ball, I see Riggy. He will probably find some of the political remnants from the Western region, because when you look at the Western Kenya formation, we saw those young people from Luhyaland getting together, blasting the leadership that has been there for the time being. What are they thinking? Think about them along the lines that Sifuna has been sent to deny that there was a conversation between Raila Odinga and William Ruto, and which I put it to you that there was, and that there's continuing to be. And they're just being double-faced. The person who is going to be edged out from that region is Musalia Mudavadi, who is an isolated, lonely individual within that cabinet that, as all these things are happening, he has no voice. He's actually there, imagining that he's holding a 21 cabinet positions together. There's no cabinet. Provided that you do not have 14 people, there's no cabinet, and you cannot even say that you are holding a brief for that. But those fellows are going to come to Ruto and to Odinga in the emerging Western Alliance. And in the process, Riggy, Kalonzo Musyoka, and others will have to find another formation. But Kalonzo Musyoka can be a very wily political craftsman. He's capable of looking at the whole situation and deciding that once again he splices through the middle, or he will decide to join what he considers to be the likely side to win, as Mheshimiwa Kirwa said. If in 2007 he'd gone with Kibaki, Kibaki would have won. If he had gone with Odinga, and I believe that Odinga won that election anyway. I also, unlike Kirwa, I believe that he won resoundingly. This thing of saying that it was a tight race, it wasn't. The whole thing was cooked up in Tharaka Nithi. And we have got the
where now the interior is sitting.
It was cooked up in Tharaka Nithi. And now there's a saying in a political parlance, tutafanya Tharaka Nithi. Yeah? Yes, if you want these things to. So Riggy and the others are capable of doing a Tharaka.
We did not cook.
A Tharaka.
We brought votes.
Well,
we voted.
But let me ask you.
Yes.
So is Barak telling us that Musalia has lost his currency? That he is a spent bullet? He did his work with the earthquake. Now the earthquake is no more, no tremor.
Dibal, this is a political conversation, what I've just heard from.
Yeah.
And there was a history, or there were some steps to getting here. Remember the rebellion that Riggy was making in Central was having reverberations beyond Central. And there was active conversations between Riggy and Baba, Kalonzo, and there was Martha Karua. So what would have happened is that that formation would have continued, and you would have had the Mountain Bloc with the Kamba Bloc and the Luo Bloc increasingly uniting. So, what the president has done is to separate Raila from that conversation and therefore isolate the mountain from this conversation. And it has come at a cost, because what has happened, and by the way, I feel for Eliud Owalo for sure, because he stood with these guys for so long. And now he was the only man from Nyanza in that cabinet, and for these other guys to arrive, he has had to be jettisoned. So I really feel for him.
And Baraka had advised.
Yeah, and Baraka.
And I told him it was coming, and he didn't listen to me.
No, you see, now we will leave you not to say it now, but I feel for him. Because you see, every time anybody from Nyanza tries to work with the government, for example, Karoli Omondi and others, it was Raila who was, and of course Tom Ojenda and so on, Raila was uncomfortable with Owalo and so on. But for him, it's okay. He can come and work with Ruto and his development. So the point is that there is a political formation here, but there is also a cost to it. And this cost is now Kambani, and that's why there is a very big attempt to make sure that Kalonzo is not left out of this discussion, and that AG slot is still being dangled. There is a western axis, but it's not around Kakamega or Vihiga. It's around the Bukusu, because already you have the interests of Weta taken care of through that nomination, and then there is dangling of this carrot is likely to be taken that side of this extra seat that's coming. So then you want to say that even if the Kakamega bit is not happy, and a bit of Vihiga is not happy, but you have the Bungoma side and the Bukusu side of life happy, you're okay. But that is thinking in the past. Thinking about what has always worked in the past. The truth of the matter is this, that rigging, Tarakanithing, and also looking at technology and so on, are all going to come into play. And Gen Zs have told these people that we know what you do, you have used us in the past. This time round, we want to be part of this conversation. To tell us that Gen Zs can wait until 2032 is illusionary. It is failing to see the moment. That you have numbers of otherwise idle and disinterested young people now saying, wait a minute, we now realize that we are actually being affected by these decisions that are being made over us when we have numbers. And they're saying, we are going to take the voters card. We are going to be active. We also know something about technology. We will monitor. We will be part of the next conversation. So the young people have spoken, and so please, let us just not ignore it.
Absolutely.
And to assume that all these arrangements will make anybody sit comfortable. Remember, and you can say that in the past that has not worked. Even Raila himself, of course, not everybody in Nyanza is saying yes. You've seen what Orengo has said. And I think he's making a very serious point. And he's looking at it from a constitutional perspective and looking at it from a political pragmatic perspective in terms of where is the future. The future has shifted to where the younger people are. Indeed, what Baba has been struggling to do is to make himself relevant, because there have been no mandamanos in this country that he has not been a part of. And whatever he has been a part of has not had the kind of effect that so far the Gen Zs have had. So he is threatened. That threat is what is making him scramble for relevance. All the people that he has put in now are people that will not have gravitas, will not have weight, and will not bring him the numbers he's looking for. The young people are not part of this, the women are not part of this, and therefore the conversation around what happens in 2027 is far from concluded.
All right. Yeah. Let's hear from... I wanted to ask on that issue of you had actually indicated something to do with the protests and the media.
Yes.
Right, but you can chime in on this so that I think we will handle the media space and the hallmark of a dictator. When you go for the media and the voices of the free media, what it does portend. You can chime in on that aspect.
I want to agree with Dr. Barak Muluka and Dr. Martin Olo. Without disagreeing with Professor Kindiki. I agree with them in the sense that the next election, 2027, the current regime led by President William Ruto will be suffering the burden of incumbency. And therefore, the incumbency that was given to Raila in the last election would have been removed from Raila or any other candidate in the alternative formation. And that, if I was to advise Rigji, is to make sure that he runs away from that shadow of incumbency. And if he wants to retain the position of deputy president, he can pick on another candidate, retain the same position. 2032, he will have consolidated the mountain and will be a candidate on his own right. Number two, I just want to inform him that in his presence, President Ruto said in future, UDA or the formation that will be born subsequent when all these parties move into another formation, perhaps it may be called ODM, the candidate for running mate, if the candidate for presidency will be a lady. And you remember even the Mothers Union that was portrayed that Rigji was wearing, that kitamba, occupied very prominent space. And therefore, the president was telling him, you are not my candidate for running mate in the next election. And that message has come out very clearly. And the lull that you've been seeing is before a serious storm that will take place in 2027. And the third issue, which I feel is also important to bring to the fore, is that GNCs will be playing a role. And it will play a role depending on a number of things that the government of the day has been told. And I'm not seeing them addressing all those issues between now and the next election. And therefore, they will be visiting the government with a lot of vengeance because they did not do what they said they will do. Because I don't see them doing all those things, including simple ones, like not making sure that, or making sure that every child that is recruited either to the police or any other formation, including the Teacher Service Commission, parents don't have to spend money. You know, that could have been a quick win. Because if the president was to decree that go to every sub-location, recruit those who are fit to be askaris, to the military, to the police, to other formations like KWS, that can be done within this year. And the young people will not feel being isolated by the regime of the day. But that's not really my main focus. My main focus has been, we've seen the president scale up his tendencies towards one-man show, starting with the cabinet. And I would want to congratulate the members who have been selected to the cabinet. They have very good credentials. And I feel it was also good for the president to retain some of the team for purposes of continuity. Otherwise, he was going to be a stranger in a cabinet of his own. But of course, I would have advised Raila that he could have given names, but not names obviously known to be related to him directly. He could have given somebody else from South Nyanza, North Nyanza, Coast, and Western, and leave the formation of ODM. You would be having a convincing case. But today, really, for the first time, I feel he has let us down. This is one of the low moments that Prime Minister Raila has demonstrated to the people of Kenya, saying one thing and doing the opposite of what he's saying. So let me not spend a lot of time on that. The making of a dictator, for those who have read a lot of history like Barack, will know that they will start by amassing wealth, then move to silencing every institution, and we've seen progressively. Now the media, you are the last place of call. And I'm sure even in future, we will not have the opportunity to come here and say what we are saying today. And that future is not far. It may be before even October. Because I can see there is a dictator in town.
It will not happen.
Huh?
It will not happen.
On Tuesday, did you know that on Tuesday, media houses were given a clampdown?
I'm aware that they were.
Yes.
But it will not happen. It began, but we will not get
allow.
there. First of all, one who is going to become a dictator starts from a platform of populism.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Populism. And we
By
saw
creating a
that,
class society.
We saw that, yes.
Yes.
That
As a
I'm
land dynasty.
speaking for the society, for the people, for the poor, for the nation, and all of us, including me and yourself, at some point,
We believe the story.
we believed the story.
Yeah.
That they assume some messianic role. This man is a messiah, a liberator. And we buy into that. And we give that person the license to go on. Then the person surrounds himself with the people who say yes, 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 all the time. And there have been those people around him all the time. Then he's also always right. And everyone else is always wrong. And because he's always right, whatever he wants must be done, no matter what. And the other Professor Kindiki will say, we are going to stop this whatever it takes. Okay? So you see that there's that making of a dictator. However, in this case, that character who has been in formation has been set back. The throwing out of the finance bill was the starting point of the reversal of that process. It has been disrupted. It will not go on. Then the remedy that has been embraced of bringing ODM into government starts sealing it. Because while President Ruto has been having free reign in cabinet, he has been giving lectures to these people and giving them instructions. Go and do this and do that. And some of them leave the place without uttering a word, leave alone attempting to raise the hand. It's going to be business unusual. ODM are getting into that space with their own agenda. It is another Raila Odinga tractor that is getting into that space. And ODM are very clever. As they are getting in, they are also denying that they are getting in. They are also denying that there has been a conversation between them. So they're going there to bring down Ruto's house. And they're not going to allow him the free license that he has been having with his demised cabinet. And remember that ODM are positioning themselves not just within cabinet, but in parliament also as the opposition. That's why they're saying, no, those ones have gone on their own. So that from within cabinet, they know what is happening, what the thinking of cabinet is, of government is, where they are going. From within the opposition, they are in parliament, waiting to take on the same government. So the making of a dictator, whether you want to clamp down on the media, on persons, we are going to be still coming here and still talking and resonating from other platforms. And President William Ruto is going to find himself in a very difficult political corner going forward.
You know, Dibal, there's something he has said which he has ascribed to ODM, which I would like to disagree with. That they are very clever, they have an agenda. So they are perverted. And what I'm going to say actually is that so is Ruto. Shrewd and very clever.
Yes.
So he is preparing. First of all, he wants to kill people's careers.
Yes.
So bring them in, and then after a while, disagree with them, destroy them, and build up new alliances. Because the one thing I'm in agreement, Ruto's sole purpose is survival beyond 2027. And he will do anything. He will not take prisoners in the process to get there. So get ODM willing, grab them. If they bring problems, dump them. So he is going to play the orchestra. The band master is going to be one. The music is going to be determined by the band master. And therefore, if you are not going to play the tune, the band master can stop the music. Remember when we were younger and we were going out to play and you were the only one who had the ball? The whole game went according to what you wanted. If you saw the other side, people were now, you picked your ball and took away with it. Yeah. So
that may be true, yes. But what we are forgetting in this thesis is that this time round you are not playing to a passive theater. To a passive audience.
No, this audience is passive.
Let me just...
this one particularly.
Let me just drive home the point.
Yes.
That you are there, you are conducting the orchestra, but the audience is not passive. It's also participating. And that makes your orchestra very difficult. That while you have this ball, and you're thinking that you can run away with it and it ends, there are 10,000 balls in the theater, in the playground, and people are waiting to throw them in, and sometimes they're actually throwing them in, and the players are not so sure which the correct ball
but
is.
I'm stuck on this cabinet issue. Just a minute. I'm stuck on this cabinet issue, and what I'm saying is that he's going to play them. And he will play them, because I don't think that the people he has are the smartest people.
Then you have another player who is also conducting that orchestra.
Which one?
And he's conducting from...
Which one, Baba?
Yes.
No, Baba will lose face. He cannot be inside government and outside. He'll lose face.
The trenches.
No way. He's not going to... First of all, he needs to be dispatched to AU if he gets there. But he cannot be in government and outside and double speak and still be credible. He cannot. I saw that statement that he made.
But he is. But as we speak, he is.
Which is his nail in the coffin. He cannot continue with the double speak, not with the new environment we have. That's what the point I'm making.
The bottom line is that we will not make a dictator.
Okay.
That is the bottom line.
The dictator one, but the political chess person, the point is about the making of a dictator. Certainly, I mean, for William, nothing, everything is contestable. I mean, there's nothing that, and you can see the way he has organized this thing. He's now saying, you see, we must pay these debts together, and we must pay taxes together. So he's no longer having a conversation about, okay, what we have learned, what not. Bring these guys, play with them, let them also get dirty, and nobody will have something to say after we've left. I mean, the truth of the matter is that going into government will not help. ODM going into government will not help this government to address the right issues, according to what Kenyans are looking for.
Right.
They will do the same things over and over.
If you heard from the soapbox that we played, we had the former President Uhuru Kenyatta saying, you know, what time do you have? Yeah, because the first 2 years you're trying to make, you know, the political corrections and realignment, then you're remaining with only 1 year. What will you deliver in 1 year? Because the other year as well is a year of election. So you'll be also concentrating your focus on how you're going to regain that. Is the current administration as it is really pinched for time? 2.5 years that we're talking, and then before all these checks into place start working, people are starting to be on the campaign mode. Professor Kindiki.
Yeah, thank you, Dubar. I'm really convinced that political decisions are tested against reality. That's why, to take you back to what I said in the morning, very, very early in the morning, when we started the show, that principles are tested against reality. So even the decisions people are making now in ASMIO, the reality of the matter, if I have to borrow the analogy of a professor here, hello, is like he has ran away with his ball. Those who are following Raila are now saying he's not a good man. And he's singing a song that if he is called, if he is invited, he will respond. You cannot respond without carrying your ball because you are playing in the field. So he has gone with the ball, and these ones have to find their own ball. What am I saying? He has gone with his party. The players have nothing to play. That's why they are saying, we don't trust you. How? You can't trust him because you have no ball to play. You have to look for your ball. Why did you?
In fact, you should be telling Kirwa.
Like
because
Kirwa
he's
doesn't have a ball.
He doesn't have any ball.
He has no ball to play. He has to for his ball. He has gone with it because, the whistle has been blown. He has been invited, and he said, "Gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen, let me have my ball as I respond to the call." And he has responded. So he has no problem because he's only responding to a very noble call. And he has gone there with his ball.
It's a call of nature.
It's a call of nature. It can be even nature. It doesn't matter. If I'm going for call of nature, I just go with my ball. I set it somewhere. Then when I come back, I give you to play. So if you are waiting for me to go for call of nature to play, then you are not good players because you should have your own ball.
No.
Because a human being, if I go to a call of nature, you have nothing to play. You just wait for me there to give you the ball.
Master
then
gets
keep on
the
waiting for
stops.
me. These people have been waiting for Raila Amolo Odinga. He is playing a higher ball, a higher league.
So now
he has gone to another
they are
league.
disoriented now.
Yes, it's another league. And the gentlemen, they have no league in a lower league.
I don't know what you mean, Professor, but...
I'm using the analogy.
But
He's looking for the chairman of African Union. And none of his members is looking. They're only praying, I wish he can go, then I take his ball. How? If I go to African Union, I go with my ball there.
Professor, I will ignore the pun.
They have no ball. And I like it, by the way, I like it so much that that's the best way because you test the principles and economic and the decisions, political decisions against reality. That is the reality.
Thank you.
That is the reality.
Thank you.
Yeah. These people they are not living in reality.
Thank you.
Once they realize they are going to have their own ball.
Thank you.
We have our own ball.
Let's get to our closing remarks, beginning with you, Dr. Kirwa.
Yes, thank you so much,
Briefly.
Bal. Just my closing remarks is really to condone with the mother of the young doctor that committed suicide the other day. And we pray that some of these cases, we should go to the bottom of it so that we understand, because there is a lot of mental illness in our society. And there is need for us to see how to address some of those issues so that we don't lose young people like Dr. Makori.
Right, thank you very much. Let's hear from Barak, because we just talked.
Yes, first of all, Professor and his balls, I leave him to his own devices.
Footballs.
I leave him to his own designs, devices, and doom.
Barak talks about Professor's
but
His closing remarks.
I'm closing. There's a lot of political deceit in the air. And as the interpreters, we are behooved to put two and two together and tell the country the truth. The dialogue between ODM and UDA or President William Ruto, because I think, and I challenge everybody within ODM to deny that Ruto has been coming to these sessions where they have been talking as a one-man army. So the dialogue has been ongoing for the past 1 year, probably even longer. The NADCO process, the AUC job, the way people like Peter Kaluma were talking in Parliament,
Thank you.
Mbadi and the others. So ODM should do the honorable thing, which is to cross the floor.
Thank you.
To become part of Kenya Kwanza.
Thank you. All right.
We have
Briefly.
looked at what has happened at the political scene. We've looked at what has happened at the constitutional level, and what we would like to remind the government is to stay the course of proper constitutional interpretation. There will be a lot of litigation ensuing from this, some of these decisions, some of these arrangements. That is unnecessary because then it takes our time. So
Thank you.
let us be constitutional.
Thank you. Professor Kindiki, closing remarks.
Yeah, we
Briefly.
plead with the Kenyans to support the president with the uniting people and bringing people together so that we don't waste a lot of time now talking about politics, but trying to implement what has been agitating Kenyans, and he's really having that in his agenda.
Thank you. All right, thank you, gentlemen. I really do appreciate what a treat to have you also this morning to just put things into perspective as far as the political tone and tenor in the country is concerned. Thank you for your valid company. Let's wait for next week, where we shall also be having the National Assembly voting the cabinet secretaries and we'll see how that will pan out as well. Thank you for your valid company. You've been watching Uongozi here on Morning Prime.
Nikitwa taitika, nikitwa taitika, taitika, nikitwa taitika, taitika, nikitwa taitika. Nikitwa taitika, nikitwa taitika,